Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. This is Humphrey speaking from Nairobi. And I can see a good number of you have already joined. And for the interest of time, we are not going to buy more time. We are going to start the webinar. The others are going to get us going. At this moment, I would like to give this chance to each one of you. You can say hi on chat. Anyone wants to ask a question, maybe before we start, you can ask a question so that we can blend it with what we are going to discuss today in this webinar. So if you want to say hi, where are you from? What are your expectations in this webinar? This is your chance. You can raise your hand. I'm going to give you the chance to say hi. And as well, if you want to do that on chat, I can allow you to actually do that on chat. The chat is open. So hi, Panki in Botswana. How are you? Yeah, nice to meet you. How is Botswana? In which part of Botswana are you in? Yeah, nice to meet you, Panki. Yeah, so guys, you can raise your expectations on chat, and we are going to look at them, and we incorporate them in our presentation today as we move on with it. So today we have so much information for you, which we are going to package in a PowerPoint presentation, and which is very important information to allow you to prepare for the USRN journey, especially for the upcoming January and next year intakes. All right. Okay, so without much ado, I would like to welcome you so much. Anyone wants to say hi on voice, on chat, you can raise your hand. On chat, you can just type and say hi to your fellow USRNs. Yeah. Aspiring USRNs. Soon and very soon, in a number of months, you're going to meet each other in the land of opportunities, that is in the US of A. Probably some of you are going to meet in the same hospitals. And of course, soon and very soon, you're going to meet each other in the class, in the NCLEX class of Passcode. So my name is Humphrey. I'm going to be taking you through the process. Thank you, Phoebe, from Kenya. I can see you there. Humphrey will be taking you through this session today. I am an RN myself. I'm a registered nurse in Kenya, also a registered nurse in the US, in the state of Texas, since 2021. And so happy to be taking nurses through the process of doing NCLEX, as well as assisting nurses to do NCLEX, to revise for NCLEX and to shine in that case, to do and pass, okay? So there's a seminar I attended sometimes, and some people were developing a curriculum for NCLEX, and they said they are just preparing a curriculum to make people know how to study for NCLEX and what is the NCLEX. But here at Passcode, we prepare people for NCLEX to do it and pass. So the pass is an emphasis for us because we don't want to just prepare you for the sake of preparing you. We want to prepare you and pass the exam so that you can realize your dreams. Without passing the NCLEX exam, you cannot start the NCLEX process, the USRN process of immigration, for you to win the EB3 green card, which you need for you to migrate to the US and start working. Yeah. So I have my colleague from Passcode who is assists with IT. When you get to the problem, to the program, sorry, you will be interacting with him almost on a daily basis in the Zoom classes, in the online portal, and he will be assisting you with that. So Zablon, if you can allow me, kindly, you can unmute and say hi to the people.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zablon. I work with Passcode. I want to wish
I
you
don't know
all the
whether it's
best.
myself only, but you're not audible.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Am I audible now? Maybe. Hello. Good evening. My name is Zablon. I work with Passcode. I want to wish you all the best as you prepare to start your NCLEX journey. We are here to support you on every step. Yeah. Thank you.
I didn't hear you well. So probably you can check your voice and I might give you another opportunity as time allows. Mukwita from Zambia, welcome so much. Judith from Kenya, welcome so much. There's a question from Ole Bogeng. So Ole Bogeng is asking, do you take nurses in clinics? What can someone do if working in clinics? So I'll start by answering your question, Ole Bogeng. If you guys you have questions, you can always type them on chat, and I'll be seeing them and responding to them as we proceed. And as well, we will be having a Q&A session where I'll be able to answer your questions. So yes, we do take nurses who are working in clinics because what we do here is what is called a self-sponsored program. So you are able to sponsor yourself, whether you're working in a big hospital, in a small hospital, and then we help you to transition or to prepare with what the employers are looking for as you do the program. So for the self-sponsored program, every nurse qualifies to do the program because every nurse has the potential to pass the NCLEX examination. All right? Yeah. So I will now request that you allow me to share my presentation, which is prepared for you in a PowerPoint form. And then later you will be able to ask questions as we proceed. I do not intend to take much of your time, but within that short time, I intend to make available to you as much information as possible. So the title today is Becoming a USRN, a United States Registered Nurse. We are looking at the process, we are looking at the requirements, we are looking at the costs, we are looking at the benefits, we are looking at why USA, and my name is Humphrey Nkonge, USRN, and I also teach NCLEX and IELTS. So let's start by introducing an organization which guides you through the process. This organization is called Passcode Global Consultants. And Passcode Global Consultants exists to bridge the gap between the demand and supply of registered nurses in the world. In majority of the third world countries, we have oversupply of nursing labor. And in developed countries, we have undersupply and demand suppression, demand expansion, sorry, in those developed countries. So while it would be easy for developed countries to get as many nurses as they want from third world countries, you find that it is quite difficult for them to do so because when you complete nursing and you get your license from your country, you do not still qualify to work in the USA because you have not done NCLEX and you have not done an English proficiency exam, which you call, in this presentation, we'll be calling EPE. English proficiency exam. So our company helps you, number one, to know about these opportunities. That is why we do these kinds of webinars, which are free of charge. We pass information to you for free because we want you to get this information. We want you to know this information. We want you to know that there are opportunities in the USA, there are opportunities in Germany, there are opportunities in these countries for free. As well, we provide individual consultation for free. You can book a meeting with us. We are going to have avail our time and meet with you. Or we can give you a call and you ask your questions regarding the USRN journey. And once you have made your decision, you're out of information, you have made what we call an informed decision, we are able to start your NCLEX registration, starting with a body called CGFNS, whose work is to verify your documents. And then from there, we're able to do your board applications. Now, the Board of Nursing in the US is what is going to give you a license once you pass NCLEX. And as well, we are able to teach you the IELTS, the English Proficiency Exam, and also to put you in a class where you will study for NCLEX and prepare yourself so that when you do the exam, you're not going to post poor results, what we call a fail in NCLEX. And as well, we also help with NCLEX testing, logistics. So probably say there is no center for NCLEX in your country. So we help you to migrate, to move to a country where there is a center, book your exam and help you to do that. Help you with all the necessary logistics for sitting for that exam. As well, once you finish your NCLEX exam and you want to proceed to your immigration, we are always there to help you. We prepare you for interviews with employers. We assist you with applications for jobs. We help you to interpret employer contracts, just to ensure that you sign the best contract, you take the best job, you choose the best employer. And when I talk about the best, is because there are some employers who are not going to be very thorough with the process of immigration, or probably they are going to delay you a lot. So we advise our clients on which employers to choose according to the experience we have seen or undergone with those employers. So someone may be asking somewhere, why the USA and why the self-sponsored program? When I talk about the self-sponsored program, I would need you to differentiate from the sponsored program, where a company called staffing companies usually sponsor you for the process. So when a company sponsors you for the process, they usually pay for your NCLEX processing. Yeah. And when they pay for your NCLEX processing, they become your employer. So you're going to sign, even before they start sponsoring you, you're going to sign a contract with them. But these companies, the sponsoring companies, do not have hospitals in the US. So they are going to place you at a particular hospital. And once they place you to that particular hospital, they negotiate a rate, a hourly pay, say, for example, $60 an hour. And with you, they sign a contract of about $30 an hour. So when you go to work for them, of course, the difference will be their profit. That is what they will be getting from you. So if you're being paid something like that, $60 an hour from the hospital where you're working, what comes to you will be what you signed with the agency. And that is what is called the sponsored program. So what we're talking about here is a self-sponsored program where you sponsor yourself for the NCLEX exam. So I'm going to be showing you the costs that are needed for you to sponsor yourself for the NCLEX exam. And the benefits, as you can see, once you sponsor yourself for the NCLEX exam, is that you're going to get a job directly with the hospital. And when you get a job directly with the hospital, we are talking about a pay rate of over $40 an hour, regardless of your experience. Majority of the people will be able to get a job of over $40 an hour. Those who have experience of 10 years and above can be assured to get over $45 an hour. Going to 15 years of experience will be getting even $50 an hour. For those of you who have 2 and less years of experience, you get around 37, 40, something around there. But if you do with sponsored, in a program where you're sponsored, you'll be getting 30, 32, regardless of your years of experience. So why the USA? Also, we talk about respect. Nurses in the USA are referred to as RNs. And RN is a big title in the USA with that comes with a lot of respect. Yeah. And the job outlook is that nurses are in high demand in the USA. I should have given you the statistics, but by the year 2030, US needs hundreds of thousands of nurses. And as we approach 2030 today, the US has not been able to solve the problem of shortages of nurses because the process of immigration has been quite slow. And therefore, the opportunities are still there waiting for you to pursue NCLEX and grab those opportunities. So the US, when you start working there, you will have flexible schedules. For example, if you're doing 36 hours, because that is the normal working hours in the USA is 36 hours, you'll be doing 36 hours in a week. So when I talk about flexible schedules, it means that you can spread your 36 hours in 3 days, where you do 12-hour shifts. And that means that you complete your 36-hour contract in per week in just 3 days. And therefore, it means that you'll be having 4 extra days. Now, for the 4 extra days, you can decide to take some extra work, which is called overtime, or you can maybe for 2 days, and maybe you rest for 2 days, and that means that you'll be able to make more and more dollars. Another big advantage for working in the USA is something called travel nursing. Now, when you are doing travel nursing, and how do you qualify to do travel nursing? Once you go to the US and work for about 1 year, you'll be able to do, you will qualify to join travel nursing agencies, and you can do travel nursing. When you're doing travel nursing, you earn like double of what you earn as a staff nurse. So if you are a staff nurse, likely to earn around $40 an hour. When you are doing travel nursing, you can earn around $70, $80 in a single hour. Yeah. So what is travel nursing? That would be a topic for another day, but just to give you a clue, it means that, say, for example, you're stationed in Texas. Texas is where you live. That is where you have your address. And when you sign up with a travel agency, they can send you to any particular location in the US for a contract of about 13 weeks. So when you go to work there, you're always paid a lot of money because that is not where you live. Yeah, because of those allowances, and in many states, those allowances, extra allowances, are not taxed. As you go to the US, of course, you tour the world, and you're looking at a huge market of about 346 million people who need your care as a nurse. And remember, it's not only the US today, the entire world needs nurses in big numbers. Family, children's future is secured. If you think of moving to the USA, you provide very good opportunities for your children. So this is a map of the USA showing the many states where people would want to work. We have Washington there. This is about that we have processed several nurses too. We also have nurses who have moved to California. Several nurses getting jobs in Texas and New Mexico, as well as North Carolina, quite a number of them. We also have those who have done with New York, and others who decided to do with North Dakota and Montana, as well as others with Arizona. Quite a number of them, of course, in Florida. This is a popular destination for nurses because of the employment agencies that are based there. So let me talk to you about the EB3 visa. When you do the NCLEX and the IELTS and you qualify to move to the USA, you're going to move to the USA through a visa called EB3 visa. So the EB3 visa, employment-based visa, allows you to gain US permanent residency. So you become a permanent resident of the US. You become a permanent resident of the US, and this visa as well allows you to move to the US with your spouse and children below the age of 21. So when you get the visa, you're going to move to the US with a visa. But once you get to the US, within the first month, your employer is going to process for you what is called a green card. Now, once you get this green card, it means that even if the employer does not wish to continue with you, maybe for some time, or you don't feel to continue with the employer after 1 year of working, probably you had a contract of about 3 years, but after 1 year, you either step out or you are made to step out by the employer. It means that you are not going to lose your status to stay in the US. So if you go to the US, you work for 1 year, you feel you don't feel to continue with that work, you can resign and you still continue being a citizen of the US, a permanent resident of the US through the EB3 visa. So once you are given the EB3 visa, it doesn't limit you. You can breach the contract, you can stop working for that hospital and get another job. Yeah. So it is a very, very advantageous, very good visa, which does not limit you to one employer. Another type of visa, which I have not outlined here, is the H-1B visa, which nurses can also use to move to the USA. But you realize that the H-1B visa is not an immigrant visa. It is an non-immigrant visa, which means that if you move with one employer and there is an issue with that employer, then you cannot be able to move to another employer because the H-1B is limiting you to a particular employer. On the contrary, the EB3 visa does not limit you to any particular employer, so you can choose to move to a different employer after a few even months. I have a friend actually who moved to the US, worked for the employer who took them there for about 3 months and decided to move to a different employer, worked with them for less than 2 years, and after that time, they moved to a third employer now, actually in California. Of course, that is not what I'm telling you to do, but I'm trying to emphasize to you what you are getting. Once you do NCLEX, you decide to move to the USA, you are moving with a visa that grants you permanent residence in the US, and after 5 years, you'll be able to apply for citizenship of the USA. Let's look at the US. What does it look like? The US currently has a population of about 346 million people. So when you're looking at the place where you want to get a job, you're looking at a place that is very lucrative in terms of the people and the market for purchasing their nursing services. And when we talk about these people, we are talking about people who have high purchasing power. US is a consumer society. It is a place where people are usually ready to use their money to live a good life, to have their money work for them. GDP, 27.36 trillion USD, the highest in the world. So the US has the highest GDP in the world, with the land area that is that largest in the world. So you can tour it as many times as you want, and you'll be seeing different areas in the same continent. Yeah, in terms of tourism, it is the third most visited country, and immigration, it is home to 50 million immigrants. Home to 50 million immigrants. So if you take one country in Africa, for example, Kenya, all the people, Kenya has a population currently of about 50 million people. So you can imagine that all the people in Kenya, an equal number is in the US as immigrants. So about 15% of the population of the US is actually made of immigrants from other countries. But even the other people we are not mentioning in the US are also descendants of immigrants who came from different parts of the world, such as Europe and South America. So actually, just a very small percentage is made up of Native Americans and the Red Indians. On healthcare, the US spends more on healthcare than any country on earth. So that's why healthcare gets a lot of money, and they have enough money to pay their nurses. Very diverse, the only country with the Earth's 5 climatic zones. Diverse geographically, diverse socially, diverse in terms of religions, diverse in terms of almost everything you want to mention. Now let's look at nursing general outlook in the USA. These are 2023 figures with a median pay of $86,070 per year. That's a big salary. for in the USA. Many occupations will not be able to make that kind of salary. In terms of hourly rate, is an average of 41.38 per hour. And typical entry level is bachelor's degree. I would like to mention something about this. Bachelor's degree is a typical entry level for RNs in the US. However, for internationally educated nurses, IENs, if you have done a diploma, you qualify to do the NCLEX and to move to the US as an RN. So I expect that will not confuse you. Work experience related to occupation, none, and on-the-job training, none. Number of jobs 2023, you can see the number of jobs, the number of openings that were available in 2023, 3,300,100. Those are so many, so many to be filled up. So many to be filled up because of the rate of retirement of baby boomers, the generation of the elderly right now in the US. Job outlook 2023 to 2033, that is a 10-year period. It will be growing at 6%, which is faster than average. Yeah. So the projection is that between 2023 to 2033, the job growth will be at 6%, and employment change between 2023 to 2033 will be at 197,200 nurses. Again, that's a huge number. So to fill this number of about 197,000 will not be a joke, because even if you take a single country, if I take, for example, the Philippines is one of the countries where foreign nurses move to the US, where majority of internationally educated nurses come from when it comes to moving to the US. And it takes about 6,000 nurses in a year. If you go to Africa, you look at a country like Kenya, it takes about 1,500 nurses in a year. So to be able to meet this 197,200, yeah, it will be an uphill task. And so that's why I would encourage you to start the NCLEX as soon as possible and be able to grab these opportunities as they last. So what are the requirements of becoming a registered nurse? We have only one, becoming a registered nurse in the US. We have only one major requirement of becoming a registered nurse in the US, and that is that you must be a registered nurse in your country. As long as you are a registered nurse in your country, that is the only requirement you need to become a USRN. I mean, it is the major, of course, you're going to need finances, but it is the major requirement, because you cannot start this process if you're not a nurse. So number one, you need to be a nurse. Do you need any experience to start this process? No, that's why I've written there 0 in red, because you do not need any experience to start the process. Yes, you will need some experience to get a job, but when you start the self-sponsored program, by the time you're getting a job, we're getting to a place of helping you to apply for a job, you will have gained some experience in your place of work, which will enable you to sign up a contract. So the major requirement is to be a registered nurse in your country. And then you pass the NCLEX examination, and then you pass an APE, English Proficiency Exam, like IELTS or OET, and then you sign a contract. And after signing a contract, you're going to start immigration, the immigration process to move to the USA. Let's look at the steps that are needed for you to be able to move to the USA. The first thing is that you need information for you to make the right decision. What I'm doing in this session is that I'm giving you information for you to make the right decision. So you need to seek the right information. At Passcode Global Consultants, we are so much committed to researching, continuous researching, responding to the needs in the market, knowing what is happening in the market, for us to be able to give you the most up-to-date information for you to make a decision. So when you get that information, you need to digest it, analyze it, and involve those who matter. For example, if you are a married person, you want to involve your spouse in the process so that you guys can assist each other in the process, financially, emotionally, psychologically. If both of you are nurses, you can actually study together, yeah? And then you make a decision and start the process, yeah? So when you tell us that you want to start the process, the first step is to pay us a fee for NCLEX registrations for us to be able to assist you with NCLEX registration processes. And for that, we're going to charge you a fee of $200 in Kenyan shillings. For those who are Kenyans, it will be about 20,000 shillings. And that is our fee for helping you with the NCLEX registrations process. The registrations process are going to start with a body called CGFNS, which is a US accredited institution whose work is to verify your documents. For example, the transcript from the School of Nursing, the license from your nursing council or nursing board, and your civil documents. So the CGFNS is going to charge you a fee of $485. That one you don't need to pay to us. You're going to pay using your Visa card or MasterCard, that online payment card, okay? So once we start that process for you and you make the payment, we are going to give you some forms. You take one to your nursing council, the other one to your School of Nursing. They are going to fill those forms and send them to the CGFNS. Once they have done that, the CGFNS will take about 1 month to process a report called CES report, Credential Evaluation Report, and that report is going to be sent to your Board of Nursing, yeah? So your Board of Nursing, we are going to choose a Board of Nursing for you, and I'll be coming to that after talking about the NCLEX revision program. So once you have started the process of registrations, it is important that you join the class and you start revising for the NCLEX. There are two processes involved in you becoming a USRN. One process is NCLEX registration services, and the other process is NCLEX revision program. So the NCLEX revision program, for us, we have a 4-month program, a very thorough, very comprehensive program, where we charge 30,000 Kenyan shillings or $300 USD. We will be having 4 sessions per week. That is what we have in our program. You are attending class on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And all these sessions are recorded. So what we do is that we have, in our website, we have something called online learning portal. You're going to be registered on that portal, on that website, have an account. So you'll be logging into that account and you'll be able to access the recordings and you can listen to them if, for example, you are not able to attend a class. And then we'll be following you up, knowing how you are doing, how you are proceeding. If, for example, you are studying, you're not getting things right, we are there to help you, our tutors, myself, to ensure that you're not lost in the journey. So we'll support you with the post-NCLEX processes, as I mentioned earlier, that once you complete your pass-NCLEX, we don't leave you. We want to walk the journey with you fully. And going now to the poster that you can see there is for our next NCLEX intake, which is coming up on the 13th of January, 2025. And I believe majority of you in this class, in this session, actually intend to join the next class that is starting on the 13th of January. So if you're intending to join that class, we need to start if you have not started already, I've seen some people who have already started NCLEX registrations in this meeting. So if you have not started your NCLEX registrations, it is good that you reach to us probably tomorrow morning, and we start your registrations with the CGFNS so that by the time the class is starting, you will have already taken your documents to the School of Nursing and Nursing Council. And then in January, when the class starts, you just settle down to study. Now, once we have completed the first step of registration with CEFNS, we are going to register with the Board of Nursing. So in the US, each state has a Board of Nursing, or what you call Nursing Council. And we are going to register you. The fee is about $200, $150 some boards, $75 some of the boards. So you will pay that fee of registrations. And then once you have done that, we'll be able to do for your process called criminal background check. Every board wants to check that you are not a criminal, you don't have a criminal history before they allow you to sit for the exam. So once we do board application and the ATT application, we are going to do for you, and the fingerprint criminal background check, we are going to do for you what is called ATT application. So the ATT in full is authorization to test. So they give you something similar to an examination card, which has a unique number, and that number allows you to schedule for the exam. So at Passcode Global Consultants, we are not going to schedule your exam until we have made enough assessments and we have subjected you to internal assessments, internal exams, to ensure that you are very well prepared for the exam. All right. And then the last step is obviously to take the exam and pass. At Passcode, we like talking about take and pass because we want you to pass the exam. So we only schedule you when we are ready, we are sure that you are very well prepared, and even you yourself, you are telling us and you feel it that you are ready for the exam. We encourage that you have a leave at least a few days before the exam, maybe a few weeks, something like that, so that you can seal the gaps that probably would be remaining before you test. The other nitty-gritties of the exam, we are going to talk to you in class. Then, once you have passed your NCLEX, we are going to congratulate you, and we are going to tell you to maybe have like a few weeks break from the process. Maybe you can rest, but some of you are not ready to have that rest, maybe 2-3 days, and they say, I want to continue with the process. So when you say you want to continue with the process, we put you in a program called English Proficiency Exam. That is an exam like IELTS or OET or PTE or TOEFL. You attain the required scores for the US. That is going to cost you about $400 or about 50,000 Kenyan shillings. That is both training and the exam. And once you get your OET results or IELTS results plus the NCLEX results, we are going to apply for you a document called Visa Screen Certificate. So the Visa Screen Certificate is the clearance now to show the USCIS, United States department that deals with immigration, that this person is cleared to start the immigration journey for the EB3 visa or for the H-1B visa. So once you have the Visa Screen Certificate, you will have done the greatest role or the greatest responsibility towards your immigration to the USA. So the Visa Screen Certificate is needed for starting your immigration with the I-1 for reputation. Of course, here we will assist you to get an employer because you need an employer to file for you the I-1 for reputation, because EB3 visa is a visa that is sponsored by an employer. Not necessarily sponsored in terms of money, in quotes, but it must have a shielder. It must have kind of a guardian, in quotes. So the sponsor is usually your employer. And the employer is going to pay all the costs associated with the EB3 visa. Even when you are doing direct hire, you're being hired directly to a hospital, the hospital is going to pay all the expenses. You're not going to pay a dime for the immigration process. And that totals to about 15,000 US dollars. In Kenyan shillings, that would be close to 2 million Kenyan shillings, and the employer is going to pay for that. And then once your I-140 petition has been approved, you have like washed your hands in the process. You have done all that you needed to do in the process. You're going to wait to be called for the interview at the embassy. And the only thing you will need to prepare thereafter is what is called vaccinations. We will give you a schedule of vaccinations that you need to prepare for, so that when you go to the interview at the embassy, you will have a smooth ride. And then you go to the interview, we prepare you again for the interview, you pass the interview, and then you get your visa and you move to the USA to start your journey. All right. Yeah, so you can get us on Facebook, Passcode Global Consultants Limited, Instagram, we're there, YouTube, we're there, and this number is the number you can use to reach us on WhatsApp. Okay. So guys, that is my presentation. I want now to give you a chance to ask questions, and we will call it a day. So you can raise your hand. I'll give you a chance to ask the questions. As well, you can ask your questions on chat, and I'll be very happy to answer them. Okay, so I have a direct question that has been sent directly to my chat, and someone is asking whether we give materials for the study. Yes, we are going to give you all the materials for the study for NCLEX. We are going to make sure that you have everything that you need so that you can prepare well for the exam. So don't you worry about the materials. We are going to make sure that we provide you with all the materials that you need for the study. The only material we are not going to provide to you, because it is not captured in the fees. The fees you pay us is for a 4-month program. It doesn't include the question bank. We are going to give you enough questions, including our own question bank. But an extra or external question bank, we are not going to provide for you. That one, we will guide you on how to buy. We have partnered with a major provider of question banks to ensure that you are given the support that you need as you go through the journey. And our pass rates have been, in the whole of 2024, have been above 96%. We have experienced very good results from our testers, because we are usually very dedicated, very thorough when it comes to preparing someone for the NCLEX exam. We are specialists. In other words, we specialize in the NCLEX program. Okay. Any other question? Yeah. How many testers have we had this year? We have had several, quite a number of them. The statistics are not yet out because our year is not yet over. Once we have closed our books for the year, we will be able to give you those statistics, because we still have several people lined up to test this January, including 2 who are testing tomorrow and some other 3 on Friday. So once we have those statistics, we will be able to answer that question. But if we have been on our WhatsApp group, we have been posting some of them, a few of them. Of course, we don't post many of them. But what I can assure you is that when you join Passcode, you are at the right place to prepare you for your NCLEX journey. Yeah, another question that has been asked directly in my inbox is that when should someone start registrations for NCLEX? Now, if you are planning to start to join the January class, this is the best time for you to start NCLEX registrations. If your finances allow, get in touch with us and start NCLEX registrations now if you're joining the January class. There is no rule that you should start registrations before the NCLEX revision. Some people would prefer to do the NCLEX revisions first before they start registrations. Others prefer to do the registrations first. But what I can tell you is that you can choose to do either first. However, I usually find doing registrations first being a good thing, because when you are getting to this process, you are not betting. Yeah, you are not doing a trial and error method. It is a sure bet process. You want to become a USRN. So if your finances allow, reach out to us, start your registrations. In January, you will have done the most important part of registration, that is CGFNS, and you can have a smooth ride in the classes. Mukwita is asking, how is the mode of payment for your fees? Is it to pay everything at once, or one can pay installments? That's a very good question. We prefer our fees to be paid at once. But say, for example, if you're preparing for the January class and you want to start paying early, so if you're paying for the January class today, you can start actually paying early, so that by January, you have already covered the fee and you start the classes without a balance. So again, this will narrow down to an individual. I wouldn't want to dictate upon it, because an individual can give us an arrangement which is workable, and we are going to work with them. Again, we do have people who join our program. We start for them NCLEX registrations. Then from NCLEX registrations, they join the class. Then from class, we are assisting them with the job search. We are assisting them with the IELTS. So it also depends with the relationship that we establish with you. Yeah. But we value you. Even for you who has not joined our program, we value you. We know that tomorrow you will be our client, and we are hoping to take you through the process and have you succeed in your USRN journey. Yes, Caroline. For someone who has done registrations, the fee remains the same, because the fee for NCLEX does not affect registrations. We charge a fee of that K for NCLEX revision program of 4 months, and a fee of 20K for NCLEX registration. So those are two different programs. How long does it take from the starting of the process to the relocation to the USA? So Phoebe, the process of moving to the USA is dependent on a country, because different countries are on different timelines of in the visa bulletin. However, majority of the countries are in a timeline whereby if you're eyeing the EB3 visa, it will take you about 1.5 years from the time you start the process and the time you're moving to the USA. If you are going with the H-1B visa, which is a bit faster, you can take about 8 months from the start of the process to process of immigration to moving to the USA. So if you start the process, if you join our January class, you will do NCLEX probably by June 2025. And then sometimes late 2026, you would be receiving an interview invitation to be able to move to the USA. Yeah, so it is important that you start early enough, because it is not a very short process. Okay, next question, please. Yeah, Said Mohammed, how are you? We will have a class in January, and we will have another class in March. So the January class starts on January 13th. The March class, the date has not yet been announced. It will be announced after the January class. So yes, you can choose to, you can plan to join the January class, you can plan to join the March class. We understand that this is a process that needs quite an amount of money, and it requires you to plan. That is actually why we did this webinar, because we believe that when you have the right information, it will be very important for you to plan. So in fact, if I can mention, this journey will cost you about 200,000 Kenyan shillings, or in terms of USD, for those who are not Kenyans, it will cost you about 1,600. Yeah, to be safe, budget for about 1,600 USD. And for those of you who don't have a center, for example, our guests from Botswana, there's no center there. Those of you who are from Zambia, there's no center there. So you will need to travel either to Kenya or to South Africa. So on top of the 1,600, actually not 1,600, 1,400, $1,400 USD. On top of the 1,400 USD, you need to plan for travel. If you may not be able to travel by air, you can plan to travel by bus. For those of you who are in Southern African countries, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, I believe you can travel to Johannesburg by bus or by any other means, and you can be able to save on transport or travel costs and be able to sit for your exam. Remember, the most important thing is for you to do everything possible, sit for your exam and pass it. And once you pass your exam, the rest is going to be easier. Mukita is asking, I'm a bit behind, so you can only join the class after paying the $300. Mukita also said that this is an individualized issue. So if you have a plan, you can get in touch with us and you can share the plan with us, and we can see whether your plan is workable. So please take our WhatsApp number, and you can engage us. So our WhatsApp number is +2 54 726 311 477. Yeah. Yeah, Caroline, I said the classes are 4 per week. We do a class on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We don't do classes on Wednesdays unless when we think it is important for us to do a makeup class. For example, when the students request that there is a topic that was a bit hard for them, we repeat that topic. Priska is asking about, what about progression? The progression process. I don't know what exactly you are asking about, Priska. Kindly, can you elaborate about it? Are you asking like how it will affect you, or what exactly? So as I wait for the clarification, retrogression is a normal process, is a normal happening. So what is retrogression? What retrogression means, the visa I talked about is called EP3 visa. So the EP3 visa is a visa that is in so much demand. If you look at the benefits I talked about, the benefits of being a permanent resident and being able to apply for citizenship after 5 years, it is a visa that is very much in demand. This visa is not for nurses only. This visa is for professionals, skilled professionals. And nurses are categorized under Role 3, Category 3 of those who should be prioritized for that visa. Category 3. So we have Category 1, 2, and nurses come at Category 3. The US issues about 140,000 visas, EP3 visas per year. So for each financial year, the US gives 140,000 slots for the EP3 visa. Now, when those visas are exhausted, depleted, the USCIS or the NVC, the National Visa Center, goes slow in issuing the visas. In other words, 140,000 visas are less than what the demand is per year. Currently, we have more than 140,000 people who need the visas per year. And the US government gives about 140,000 visas per year. Their year starts in October. So in every October, we have 140,000 visas available. And then they start issuing those visas. Probably by May of the next year, those visas are already depleted. So when the visas are depleted, they introduce a retrogression to wait for the next financial year. So like now, we started seeing movement, that is retrogression easing in October this year. We are waiting for the next visa bulletin, probably by mid-month. And we are likely to see a huge movement, easing of the retrogression for this year. But that does not mean retrogression will not come again. Once those visas are all issued, probably by May next year, we will see retrogression again. So it is a cycle that is continuous. It is not something that can prevent you from moving to the US. It can only, it only delays you, but as I have prepared you psychologically, it is a process that takes about 1.5 years. And majority of that, much of that time, you'll not be doing anything because you're able to do NCLEX and IELTS within 6 months. So in about 1 year, you'll just be waiting. So as you wait, you will be saving money for your relocation. So, and when I talk about you saving money for your relocation, remember that the air ticket is going to be paid by the employer. Some of the employers will get you, some of them will actually be able to pay for your accommodation for the first month. Yeah, but you will need enough money to settle, depending on the size of your family. If you are a single person, for example, you're not moving with your family, you can take a studio as your living place or a 1-bedroom house. But someone who is moving out with a family, most probably they have to take a 2-bedroom house. Yeah. So, Priska, I hope I have answered your question. Caroline, the classes are 2-hour sessions. Jackson Kiplagat, how are you? I hope we are together. Namakau, how are you, Namakau? Matthews Masime, pleasure to see you in. Catherine Nakamba, good to see you here. And Esla Namwinga. Phoebe is asking if we both nurses as a couple, do we all need to do NCLEX and IELTS? Yes and no, Phoebe. Yes and no, because you see, what I would advise you, Phoebe, is that if your finances allow, just do the process, both of you, because when you do the process as both of you, you will be able to be discussion partners. So you will actually form a discussion between the two of you when you'll be in the process. You'll be encouraging each other in the journey, and you'll be teaching each other. However, if your finances or probably time does not allow, you want to support one of you first. So one of you to first do the process, but the other one will also do the process as you wait to immigrate. So this is if your finances or time do not allow, one of you should start the process very fast. So as one of you does the process very fast, they should work very hard and pass the NCLEX. Once they pass the NCLEX, let them, we will assist them to get a job and they start immigration immediately. So when, for example, say it is you, Phoebe, who has started your migration, your spouse will be added to your visa as a dependent, and your spouse will be getting an EB3 visa too. So we said the EB3 visa goes to the nurse, who is the principal applicant, and the dependents. So your visa will be carrying your spouse and your children. Now, once you are done with the NCLEX and IELTS and you have a job, you are now waiting for your immigration. Now let your spouse start doing NCLEX. Yeah. Again, your spouse should do self-sponsored program. Let them not bind themselves with any agency. Once they have passed NCLEX and IELTS, they should not take a job. They should wait until you go to America so that they will take a job there. They are likely to get a higher pay than when they take that job when they are already here. If that is not a good alternative, consider taking a job in the same hospital where your spouse will be working. But when you go to America, it will be better because you can get a job in another hospital in the same neighborhood, yeah? So that what you'll be looking at is that you and your spouse should be having different shifts, so that one of you will be taking care of the children when the other one is working. I've assumed that you have children in the picture. So Phoebe, for more information, you can reach out to me on the WhatsApp number that I gave. You can call me tomorrow, and I'll be able to advise you well, because you are going to give me some specific information about the both of you. Or alternatively, you can book an appointment with me and you come to our office in Nairobi, and we'll be able to discuss more about the best way to handle the issue. Sid is asking, after passing the NCLEX, will you conduct the EPE training and tests, and at what cost? Yes, we are going to help you with IELTS. The cost differs depending on the EPE that you have chosen. So if you choose OET, the exam cost is more. If you choose IELTS, you'll be paying about, currently it's about 38,000 Kenyan shillings. And the training is 12,000 Kenyan shillings. That is $120 for those who are not Kenyans for IELTS, and $150 or 15,000 for OET. So guys, I know you have so many questions, but I wish to end at this point. We will have another session. Hamid, get the WhatsApp number. Let us continue talking. Let us continue speaking. Looking forward to have you at Passcode. So at this point, you can unmute. You can have your video on if you want, and say good night to your colleagues.
Good night. Thank you so much. We'll definitely communicate by WhatsApp.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much.